The selfish giant. Every afternoon, when school was over, the children played in the garden of a large, uninhabited castle. They rolled around on the grass, hid behind flower-filled bushes, and climbed the trees that sheltered many singing birds. There, they were very happy. One afternoon, they were playing hide-and-seek when they heard a loud voice. "What are you doing in my garden?" Trembling with fear, the children peeked out from their hiding places, where they saw a very angry giant. He had decided to return home after living with his friend the ogre for 7 years. "I have returned to my castle to have some peace and quiet," he thundered. "I don't want to hear noisy children. Get out of my garden, and don't you dare return." The children ran away as fast as they could. "This garden is mine and mine alone," the giant muttered. "I'll make sure no one else uses it." Very soon, he had built a tall wall full of spikes around it. On the large iron gate that led into the garden, the giant hung a sign that read "Private Property. Entry forbidden." Every day, the children peeked through the bars at the gate to look at the garden they missed so much. Then, sadly, they walked away to play on a dusty road. When winter arrived, the snow covered the ground with a thick white blanket, and frost painted the trees silver. The north wind whistled around the giant's castle, and the hailstones struck the windows. "How I wish spring would come," he sighed, curled up by the fire. At last, spring arrived. The snow and frost disappeared, and flowers colored the earth. The trees filled with buds, and birds spread their songs across the fields, except in the giant's garden. There, the snow and frost still froze the bare branches of the trees. "Spring doesn't want to come to my garden," the giant kept lamenting. "My garden is a sad, cold desert." One morning the giant lay in bed, sad and discouraged. To his surprise, he heard a blackbird singing. He ran to the window and was filled with joy. The snow and frost were gone, and all the trees were covered in blossoms. On each tree sat a child. They had entered the garden through a hole in the wall, and spring had come with them. Only one child had not managed to climb any tree. He cried bitterly because he was too small and could not reach even the lowest branch of the smallest tree. The giant felt compassion for the child. "How selfish I have been! Now I understand why spring didn't want to come to my garden. I will tear down the wall and turn this place into a park for children to enjoy. But first, I must help that little one climb the tree." The giant went downstairs and entered his garden. But when the children saw him, they were so frightened that they ran away again. Only the little one remained, his eyes full of tears, unable to see the giant approaching. As winter returned to the garden, the giant gently picked up the child in his arms. "Don't cry," he murmured sweetly, placing him on the nearest tree. Immediately, the tree blossomed. The child wrapped his arms around the giant's neck and kissed him. When the other children saw that the giant had become good and kind, they ran back through the hole in the wall, and spring entered with them. The giant laughed happily and joined in their games, stopping only to tear down the wall with a hammer. By sunset, he realized he hadn't seen the little child for quite some time. "Where is your little friend?" he asked anxiously. But the children didn't know. Every day, after school, the children came to play in the giant's beautiful garden. And every day, the giant asked the same question: "Has the little one come today?" And every day, he got the same answer: "We don't know where to find him. The only time we saw him was the day you tore down the wall." The giant grew very sad, for he loved the little child dearly. Only watching the others play brought him some joy. The years passed, and the giant grew old. A time came when he could no longer play with the children. One winter morning, he was looking out of his bedroom window when he suddenly saw a beautiful tree in a corner of the garden. Its golden branches were covered with delicate white flowers and silver fruits, and underneath the tree stood the little child. "He has finally returned," exclaimed the giant joyfully. Forgetting that his legs were very weak, he went down the stairs and crossed the garden. But when he reached the child, he turned red with anger. "Who has hurt you? You have nail marks in your hands and feet. No matter how old or weak I am, I will kill the ones who did this to you." Then the child smiled gently and said, "Peace, don't be angry, and come with me." "Who are you?" whispered the giant, falling to his knees. "Long ago, you let me play in your garden," the child replied. "Now I want you to come to mine, which is called paradise." That afternoon, when the children entered the garden to play in the snow, they found the giant dead, peacefully resting beneath a tree covered in white flowers. Short reflection. The story teaches us that generosity and kindness transform everything around us, including our own hearts. When the giant opened his garden and shared it with others, he discovered true happiness. The tale reminds us that joy grows when it is shared and that love is always rewarded in the end. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.